afternoon, except see this big, giant exercise ball. That's what it feels like, you know. It's like, I want to jump on it, and I guess it would make my doctor really happy if I did some exercise. Hi, everybody. My name is Pat Monteith, and I have so many different hats that I wear. I'm not going to tell you all of them. First of all, I'm a very proud resident of this city of Brockton, and have been for about 12 years. And it's one of the best moves I've ever made, to be perfectly honest. I'm also a NASA Solar System Ambassador, as is Amanda Kirka from Brockton High School. And what we do is we get trained by NASA, and we go out and we do presentations in the community. My communities have extended as far as Michigan and down in Nashville, Tennessee, so I've been all over the place. I've probably done about 60 or 70 presentations, largely to school groups, but also to libraries. And the most attentive audience I've ever had is the Council of Aging in a lot of different communities all over Eastern Massachusetts, and it's been really great. I'm also a wonderful, proud volunteer of this great library, the Brockton Public Library, and it's one of the first things I discovered. And I don't know, is Lucia Shannon here? She's responsible for my making the commitments that I have and the connections that I have at the library. And one of the first things I did here was I started mentoring students with their science fair projects. And then I went on to do all sorts of other things. And now this is my newest pride and joy, this big thing in the middle of the library that we didn't think was going to fit in this building at all. And you know, it was really great. Paul Engel, the director of the library, contacted me about a year ago and said, you know, the Mass Library, you know, commissioners is looking for some unique proposals for up to $50,000. Do you have any ideas? I called you back 10 minutes later. Not even. And I said, let's get a big, you know, inflatable planetarium. He goes, yeah, that sounds great. And next thing I know, the grant proposal was submitted and the grant was approved. And Lindsay, who's representing the commission right now, was very pleased to, I think, give us this grant because it was a crazy idea. And I think that's what they were looking for. So I would like to introduce a couple of people who would like to say a few words. I am so honored. You can't imagine that we've got the turnout that we've had today, and we've got a lot of wonderful, wonderful people. First up, I would like to introduce my neighbor, Mayor Robert Sullivan, who, oh my goodness, I think I've known for many, many years, and really pleased to have him as a neighbor. He's a great neighbor. He keeps his lawn better than I do. So maybe he needs to be kept busy here so he doesn't have time to mow the lawn. I'm only kidding. But, you know, I first met Mayor Sullivan back when he was a member of the City Council, and we brought him in to meet with and give citations to Adrian Niles, who's Phyllis's grandson and Tiffany's son. And if you remember that, it was Adrian came in, and you were very kind and very generous then to contact me and say, let's bring them in here. So I'd like you to give a big round warm of support for somebody who's really supported the library and everything that we do here. Mayor Robert Sullivan.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is awesome. It really is. I mean, when you think about having two NASA ambassadors in the city of Champions, that's phenomenal. So I want to round of applause. I want to recognize State Senator Mike Brady, State Rep Jerry Cassidy, Councilor Shirley Azak is here, Tim Sullivan, School Committee, Joyce Azak, School Committee, President Phyllis Ellis of the NAACP, Best Brockton High Principal Cindy Burns is here as well. But I just want to thank all of you. I want to thank Paul Engel, the library director, Philip, our poet laureate, is here as well. My wife and kids are here. I have to definitely thank them, right? Father's Day is coming up, right? So we're going to get that going. But I really want to thank Pat Monteith. Pat is truly a champion within our City of Champions. She is the Energizer Bunny, and I say that in the most humble way. She just keeps going, going, and going. So the synergy is real. The whole purpose is to educate the youth, our kids, the next generation, right? And so to be able to have this here, I want to thank Paul and the Library Foundation, the library board members that say yes. They always say yes, because that's what Brockton's about. That's why when Mr. Carnegie gave the money for the library, it was for the youth of Brockton, right? And we are in the library dedicated after the best state senator, no offense, Mike, that we've ever seen in the Commonwealth, Tommy Kennedy. And so to be able to come together as one, that's what Brockton is. So please, please, please enjoy yourself. Take advantage of every opportunity. This one, past ones, future ones here in the library, because this is the best library, not just in the Commonwealth, but in the nation. So be well, God bless, and have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody. Buy books, okay? Downstairs and over there. That's my plug.
There's always something going on here at the library, whether it's crazy projects like the suffrage project that I coordinated about a year and a half ago, and now the Planetarium. We've got Makerspace that I run, which we hope to reactivate back this summer. But there's always something going on here. I should see every single one of you every time I walk in the door, because there's always some great stuff and a wonderful collection of not only books, but Paul, when you come up to say a few words, I hope you talk about the Library of Things. This is part of the Library of Things collection for the library, which is really great. Without further ado, I would like to introduce our state senator, who's been a huge supporter of, I know, the library and everything that I've done. So, Senator Michael Brady, thank you.
Thank you, Pat. And as the mayor mentioned, Tom Kennedy, who no one can fill his shoes, he was a big supporter of public libraries and a big supporter of this library. And he worked when Governor Cellucci, as the mayor mentioned, the original library was built with a grant from Andrew Carnegie in the early 1900s. He was a philanthropist and wanted to give back, and he funded a lot of libraries. And it was a beautiful historic library, but it was never handicap accessible. So never mind, a young child couldn't get in here unless you carried him up the stairs, but Tommy Kennedy, our state senator, couldn't get in here. And he worked to override a veto from one of our former governors. And we went in, and there was a lot of advocates from Brockton. We went in with these candy hearts, have a heart, support our libraries, and our local delegation, led by Tom Kennedy, supported overriding the governor's veto to make it handicap accessible. But we kept the historic front of the building intact, and they added this beautiful addition and the elevator and so forth. And I've been honored to be a part of the delegation in the center with Jerry Cassidy and our other delegation, and we do support libraries because it's so important. And now I haven't toured it yet, but Jerry says it's a great endeavor to go into that planetarium, so I look forward to going to it. But I'm just honored to be part of the delegation, part of the team we have in Brockton, from our state delegation, our mayor, and our city council, and our school committee, because we all work together, and that's what makes us a city of champions, working all together. So I'm just honored to be here, and God bless you all.
So, you know, when we put out the request for proposal for the planetarium, we sent it to 5 or 6 companies, I guess. And there are a couple of things that we really wanted that was very important to us. And one is that it is handicapped accessible. And you may not realize this, but all you have to do is, maybe I shouldn't tell them. You lift up the back end of the planetarium, but then the whole thing deflates. No, I'm only kidding. But that was one of the things that it is, in fact, handicapped accessible. The other thing that I really wanted, and I'm so proud that we're going to have, and I see Melissa over there, and I know she's smiling ear to ear when I told her that we will have programs in different languages in this planetarium. This is not just an astronomy planetarium. This is something that's going to be running programs about biology and chemistry, the environment, different cultural groups, and they will be in different languages, so it's going to be very, very exciting. I would like to introduce our state representative, Jerry Cassidy, who I know has been a really strong supporter of the library, and every time we've done something at the library, Jerry's been there, and I really appreciate it, in addition to Senator Brady and Mayor Sullivan and Yeah, you guys are great. Our state representative, yeah.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat. This is out of this world. I tell you, I was just in the Planetarium, and Amanda, thank you very much for doing such a phenomenal job up there. Amanda's at the high school doing the Planetarium up there. We were just talking about back years ago, Victor Ortiz. He was in charge of the Planetarium. It was phenomenal. It changed my life. But it really did surprise me that Pluto was no longer a planet. You know, back in my day, Pluto was a planet. Now there's the moon, Sharon. See, I was listening. Sharon was circling. So, but it was very interesting that Earth, you know, we're going to be going to the moon, and then from there in 2035, we could possibly going into Mars. And it's a very learning experience for all the kids here in Brockton that you'll be able to bring this to like the Davis and, you know, even surrounding communities. Pat, I thank you very much for that, and I just want to give you a citation for all the work that you do here in the city of Brockton. You definitely deserve it, Pat. Be it hereby known to all that the Mass House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Pat Monteith in recognition of your dedication to astronomy education in the city of Brockton. Signed by the entire delegation, Senator Brady, Michelle DeBoer, and myself. So congratulations, great job, thank you. How did this work?
One of the things that I was a little concerned about with proposing the planetarium was that it wasn't going to interfere with what's happening at the high school. The high school has a nice planetarium, which is in the process of getting some new software soon. Okay, so who's in charge of the budget for the school?
It's coming your way.
So, you know, I reached out to Superintendent Thomas, who would have been here if it wasn't for a nephew's graduation today. And, you know, Dave Mangus, the head of the science department, who introduced me to Amanda. And, you know, one of the things we talked about is this is going to be a great way to get students at the elementary and middle school level interested about space science and astronomy and other types of sciences before they get to the high school. So in about 3 years, Amanda, you're going to probably have about 70 students who are going to want to be in that class. So I would like to introduce, speaking of the high school and the science department, I'd like to introduce the principal for Brockton High School, who I knew when she was over at Champion High, and we put together a garden for the NAACP. But Cindy Burns, who's the principal of Brockton High School, is here, and I'm so honored that she took the time with, I know, some of the other obligations she's got to be here today. Cindy, thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank Pat for inviting me up to speak. I met Pat maybe 5 or 6 years ago when I was leading a Boy Scout troop, and she graciously came over and taught the troop how to shoot rockets into the air. And I will tell you, it ignited a passion in my son, who was part of that troop, about space and rockets. And then maybe the next year, we went to Disney World, and he actually said, "I'd like to take a day, Mom, in this trip to go down to see NASA." And that came out of the blue, and that was largely because of, you know, what Pat had taught the troop. So I'm very well aware of how important it is to get kids young, get them excited about science, because ultimately, and I said this at graduation last week, you know, we bring them through the last 4 years, we kind of get them, you know, to the finish line. But all the hard work happens when they're younger, and it happens with the teachers there. So it really is very important to have something like this. So I'll give you an idea of kind of what impact it does have. You have some high school students over there that came to volunteer, and then early, if they want to, you know, hello guys out there. But they came to me right when I started at Brockton High and said, "We'd like a NASA club, can we get that?" I'm like, absolutely we can get that. And so I want to thank Ms. Kierke for that. They did a great project on growing, grow the moon, plant the moon. So they were actually able to grow crops in moon soil. So that type of excitement is really important. You know, this year we graduated over 700 students. They're going to great colleges. So when anyone says Brockton can't, they say, no, I'm going to point you to the Brockton kids that are going to Harvard, they're going to BC, they're going to Stanford, they're going into the medical field. Brockton High School has a state-of-the-art biotechnology lab, thanks in, you know, large part to the, you know, work the school committee and Superintendent Thomas and, you know, Dr. Mangus. So to get that, you know, facility into the high school We do have the Planetarium that, again, it needs a little bit of TLC right now, but we know we're going to get that back where that needs to be. We have a health innovations pathway for anybody that is interested in the life sciences and also engineering. So what we have in Brockton and the Brockton Public Schools is second to none to the area, schools around here. So I encourage anyone to, if you've got young ones thinking, hey, what do I want to do? You'll find it at Brockton High School. You'll find opportunities in the sciences. You will find opportunities for, your kids to grow and to flourish and to really ignite that passion that we know is, where are the careers right now? They're in life sciences, they're in the sciences. So I'm very proud to be the principal of Brockton High. I'm very proud to be a member of the Brockton Public Schools because I know the hard work, not only in my building, but in all of the elementary schools and all of the middle schools. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. Talk it up because I think certainly, the sciences are where we can go, in this area. So thank you for the time. I really do appreciate it. And my son is dying to get into this thing, so I better go find him. Thank you, everybody.
There are some great students and have been some great students at Brockton High School. I should know I've mentored a lot of the top students, and 2 years in a row I ended up mentoring the valedictorian, Francesca Damari, who's over at Princeton. And then the next year was Isabel Stacco, who's over at Yale. And then number 2 in the class this year, Christian Nichols is on his way to Stanford, full ride. Isabel went full ride. There's other opportunities. One of my favorite students that I've worked with, Mary Purdahl, who's over at Boston University. There's some great students, great programs, and don't let anybody tell you that Brockton is competing with everybody else, because when you're talking Yale and Princeton and Stanford, you can't get any higher than that. Anyway, I would like to move on, and our final few words is from apparently my partner in crime, I guess, because he never says no to me. I don't know why. But it keeps me off the streets. It keeps me busy, The director of the library, Paul, thank you so much. Since you came on board, this place is really taking off.
Hi, everyone. Pat's right. I am completely crazy. But part of that, the residual from that is that I do have a very creative side, and I can be very easily fed creative ideas, and that's what you see here. This is a library, yes, and I'll agree with Mayor Sullivan. This is a great library. It's also a wonderland. It's a place where you can come and lose yourself in the books we have, in the media we have, and as Pat mentioned, the Library of Things. This is part of our Library of Things collection. So this can circulate to literally anybody with a little bit of training. Earlier today, I checked out to a group, I think it was the Congregational Church, Christ Congregational, a giant screen for outdoor video projection and the projector. We have musical instruments. We have science tools and STEM stuff that I don't know anything about because I'm coming from the arts. And all of it can circulate. We have technology, we have iPads, we have laptops. And you can just come in here and check it out with your Brockton Public Library card. And we do all of this based on the tenet that a public library offers its services for free. You will never pay anything to borrow from this library ever again, because last year we went fine free. Thank you to the trustees. So I'm going to wrap up because I know I'm the last line of defense between the Planetarium and you all. So I just want to thank the mayor for being here, thank the Representative Cassie, Senator Brady, Lindsay, thank you for being here from the MBLC, and thank you to the wonderful staff of the Brockton Public Library, the trustees, Phyllis and Margie was here earlier. Thank you all very much. It's a pleasure and an honor to be the director of this library system.
All right, so one other thing that I do want to mention, if you have an interest in space science, one of the Library of Things items, actually I think several, are telescopes. You could check out a telescope, take it home for 2 weeks, and you can look at the night sky, you can look at the moon, you can try to find Mars. And tonight in particular, there are 5 planets that you can see, which is going to be really, really great. So don't forget that. Check out what we have in our library of things. There's a booklet downstairs in the lobby that tells you everything. But do you know how, Sue, do you know how many telescopes we have? All right, I'm not going to wait for it. Definitely two. Okay, definitely two. So if you go running over there right now, you can check out the two telescopes. Thank you all for being here. It really means an awful lot to me. If you want some more information about how this planetarium can be in your community organizations, in your school, there's some information that Laura can hand out to you, or I can hand out to you. Be happy to do that. I can't thank enough all the people who have volunteered to make today happen. This, you know, aside from the fact that this is big, it took a lot of work to prepare what we're doing here today, and I want to thank everybody who's volunteered. It really does mean a lot to me. And that's it. You got tickets for the next show?
And I'm known as a microplastics girl because of the work that I've done to remove microplastics from the ocean floor. And I was really excited to come to the planetarium today, not only because I think it's a really great and immersive way for people to learn more about space, but also because I wanted to help spread the knowledge about types of trash everywhere. Not just about plastics and the deep ocean, but also about space junk that might be in deep space. And to teach people about these things in ways that we might be able to reduce the use of these pollution in our lives.
It was really fascinating for me because, of course, I learned all about the solar system many, many, many decades ago when I was in elementary school. But it was great to get a refresher on that because I knew about all the planets, and I learned that Pluto was a planet, and now I understand that it's a dwarf planet. I remember hearing in the news that it was no longer considered a planet, and I was kind of heartbroken because I learned all about this in school. But now I learned more details about it, and it was really good to see the kids. The kids are so fascinated, and they had some great questions. And the planetarium is not a huge thing. It's not a huge tent that they're in, but there's so much they can project on the ceiling and the walls of it. And it's a great experience for these kids. I can see that, and the parents are loving it too. So I think it's a wonderful thing that the Brockton Library has this, and that it's going to be traveling around so other kids and adults can learn and be refreshed, get a refresher on all the planets and all the solar system and everything else.
Hi, I'm William. I go to the Angela School. I'm 11 years old. Seeing all the planets and all the constellations.
Hi, I'm Alex. My name is Alexander. I go to the Angela School and I'm 11 years old. My favorite part of the thing over there was when they showed the constellations and explained it, and when they explained like the planets and what happens to them and stuff like that.
Hi, my name is Alexis. The thing that I liked they did that they explained that gravity can't go into space, and only if something big, if you went onto something big, then it would, then there would be much more gravity coming to you. Thank you for the book, Levi.
How old are you?
3.
3?
What was your favorite part of the event? What was your favorite thing?
Thank you for the book, and it's very good. And thank you
What's your
for
favorite planet?
the earth. Also, the earth is the people who live in the earth are nice.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.